Why put off on someone else what you can do yourself, right? My wife is really wanting to go for a ride, so I'm going to change the oil, throw the battery in, cross my fingers, hope she starts. She should. And we'll see how it goes. So if you've never changed oil in a Harley, it's not complicated. It's your oil cap, take that off, and then down here we've got right, let's see if I can get a shot of this. Right here, there's your drain plug. There's your oil pan. So you take that oil cap off, and then you pull that drain plug. It's a 17 millimeter, I believe. And then you just let her spill out into the pan. Put the drain plug back in, fill it up. Takes 4 quarts, typically. And then your oil filter is right here. Let's see if I can get a shot of it. No, not really. It's right there. You just pull it off. You ready? Here she comes. Oh shit. I didn't want to do that. Alright, so what do you do when you're confined to your home? You have nothing else to do. Corona's everywhere. What do you do?
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts.
Man, I hope y'all are doing well. Challenge you guys today. I know this is a rough time. Think about what you're grateful for. There's got to be something in your life you're grateful for. Think about that. Think about it all the time. I think this week is going to be... I think the next few weeks are going to be really interesting in trucking and freight. You see that? I hate that. You gotta pull those things down so tight. I don't know, I think it's my ADD. I just like everything to be square. Not that that's not a bad thing. It didn't necessarily shift, but anyway, I think this week in trucking, things are gonna be very, very interesting. and I think it's going to be a downslide. It's kind of started last week. I think it's just going to keep sliding downhill in the weeks to come. I think this week and next week, I feel like we'll probably see some pretty interesting shifts in freight. So for those of you that drive, you know, keep your head up. This is not going to last forever. For those of you that are thinking about getting into trucking, you may want to just hold that thought for let us get through this. Especially if you got a secure job now, even if you hate it, just stay there. That'd be my advice. Temporarily, just stay there until we get through this. So, all right, guys, got to go to Cincinnati, drop that off, all of that, run back up to Detroit and get some more of it, which goes to Kentucky tomorrow. So let's do it. All right. Fill this side up first. So we're gonna top this side off. Get the cap there. This truck is filthy dirty. Maverick suspended truck washes. Probably save money. Don't blame them. Plus, keeps us away from Blue Beacon staff. That's where we get our trucks washed. And Blue Beacon staff don't need to be around us if it's not necessary. At Maverick, you have to get your truck washed every 14 days or they'll shut you down for not having it washed, which, I mean, I like it. I drove with a company in my early 20s before I got my registered nursing license and practiced registered nursing for a while. They didn't make you wash your truck at all. My truck was always dirty, but it's nice to have a clean truck. So, oh, this one. Oh, there we go. I was gonna say, this pump must have. You gotta watch these pumps. They're tricky. They'll shut off. And then we're gonna put def in. Now our def goes here. And there's our def pump. So this is the catalyst that cleans the fumes out of the engine. This way you hear about pre-emission E-M-I-S-S-I-O-N, pre-emission and emission trucks. That's what it's all about right there. So the pre-emission trucks didn't run, pretty sure they didn't run catalyst, or the def, they didn't have the diesel cleaning systems, all that good stuff. So I always top off the def fluid every time I stop for fuel, because it's just nice to make sure you keep a full tank. It only takes a minute to top it off. Gosh dang. Oh, there we go, bubbles. All right. See if you can see that in there. There you go. See those bubbles? Alright, so hopefully I'm not making any more motion sick with this. Put our cap on. Now let's pump our def. There's our def fluid. Maybe. There we go. You see it there. So I kind of got hung out Friday night. It's not anybody's fault. It was, actually it's a funny story, so lesson to be learned from it. I picked this trailer up Friday, and the taillights didn't work on it. And my first thought was, you know, I bet a driver dropped this trailer off, knew those taillights didn't work on it, was in a hurry, and just said, oh, well, the next person can deal with it. That was my first thought, which pisses you off, you know, when you think that. And it happens. I know it happens. And I thought, you know what, Brandon, that's not fair, because you don't know, unless you know 100% for sure that that's true. You can't be thinking that. And I did have a trailer 2 weeks ago. I picked it up. I did a pre-trip on it. It was fine. I took it 20 miles down the road, parked at a rest area because I was out of hours. I couldn't stay at the shipper with the trailer. I went down to the rest area. I was out of hours. Went to sleep. Didn't do a post-trip inspection because I had just done one. A pre-trip like 20 minutes before I parked. Literally like 20 or 30 minutes. And woke up in the morning and the daggone turn signal went out overnight. The mechanic came. I put a breakdown in for it. The mechanic came and said that the wires were corroded and it had rained that night, and the water that was the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. So anyway, the taillights are out on this trailer. I'm sitting in Detroit at a truck stop. I know I'm not going to make it home now because I just had enough time to go home. We can't really work on these trailers. We're not allowed to. The drivers really aren't supposed to mess with Maverick's equipment, and that's what Maverick wants, and so I honor that. If it's something small that I know I can fix, like a grommet or something on the air brake line, then yeah, I'll do that. But so I put a breakdown form in. Mechanic comes. It's the fuse that blew on my truck. That was why the taillights went out. So it wasn't anybody's fault. So don't be quick to blame someone. Because, I could have called my fleet manager and just had an absolute fit and said, I'm tired of picking up trailers that are broken and blah, 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 right? And it would have been for nothing. Plus, I don't do that anyway. All right. So I get a lot of questions about how we handle these tarps. I think people want to get into flatbedding and they're intimidated by the physical part of it. And I'll tell you that the physical part of it is a huge blessing, because you don't want to sit in there 11, 12, 14 hours a day, right? It's just not healthy. This gets me out, gets me some sunshine. And so, first thing we do is, this is a lumber tarp, all right? This is one of our biggest tarps. First thing we're going to do is we're going to straighten it out. So you need it to be completely straight. So I just pulled it off of the truck, and we're going to straighten it out. So let's do that, and then we'll talk a little bit more about what's next. Okay. Now. All right. So now we got it all straightened out, and that's what I mean by straightened out. Got it all laid out. Now we're going to take this flap. We're going to fold it over onto the tarp. Fold it over here. See that? So we can do that. It doesn't really matter. Not that I can tell anyway. So we'll fold that over. All right, now, here's where the fun begins. Now, this is really easy. For a big tarp, it's easy. We are going to, we're on the edge of the tarp, take this, we're going to bring that piece to the middle of the tarp. See how we just did that? And then, now there's a, you can run up and down this tarp. You can fold this in a few minutes. It's going to take me a little longer because I'm filming. We're going to do the same with the bottom part. So now you've got your tarp folded once on the one side. Straighten it out a little bit. And see, we're right in the middle of the tarp, all the way down, pretty much. We're going to do that 2 more times. So you're going to have 3 folds per side total. So grab it. Now we just folded it again. All right, come down here. Grab this piece. See that? Bam. Pretty spiffy. All right. I'm a little OCD. I was gonna say ODD. I don't know what ODD is. I'm sure I can make something up. I'm a little OCD, so I like my wrinkles to be out. We're gonna grab, we're gonna fold one more time. See how that flipped over? Now if I was using two hands and I wasn't holding the camera with one, then would have gotten a lot more of that to flip over. And grab and flip it over, straighten it out. All right, now this side is done. We've got to do the exact same thing on the other side, and I'll spare you the motion sickness. Let me fold the other side just like this side, and then I'll show you what the next steps are. Okay, now we've got both sides folded. Now here's our top piece, or our piece with the flap that we had folded inward over the tarp in the beginning. You see how we have both sides folded now? Now here's what we do. We're going to take either side, it doesn't matter. We're going to use this side. We're going to grab it, and we're going to flip it over on top of the other side. See that? Now again, if I had two hands on this, that would have went a lot more smoothly. Gonna grab, get a nice firm grip, flip it over, and we can fix this. All right. There you go. You just folded a lumber tarp. You're on your way to flatbedding. You didn't even know it. We're going to walk all the air out of it. Now here's what's important when you fold this. We're going to fold this in half almost. Well, not quite half. We have got to fold, and you'll see what I mean in a second, towards the flap. Remember our flap that I just talked about that we folded over the tarp in the beginning? We fold towards the flap. Very important. What we do is we'll take this end of the tarp and we're going to walk it to about halfway down. Some people go more, some people go less. I don't have a preference. Halfway sounded good. Halfway is what will work today. Here's our product. We just made it a lot shorter. And then we will take this and we'll start to roll, and we will roll it, and I'll show you what that looks like. So you're just going to start, and I can't do this with one hand. You're going to start here, and you're going to start rolling. You're going to roll this all the way up. There you go. What we should have done, and I didn't think about it, was drug the tarp before it was rolled up over to the tarp box that it's going to go in. But I don't mind picking it up. We're going to put bungees around it. 2 bungees go around it to keep it in place. We're going to throw it in the tarp box.
The world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions, we'll get away. This is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out.